Have you ever felt the sting of offering trust and sincerity, only to be met with doubt and confusion? How often have you silently questioned whether the person in front of you truly values you or is simply putting on an act? Deep inside, you might worry that you're being taken advantage of, that kind words and gestures are nothing more than a mask for hidden motives. Deception in relationships doesn't just hurt, it slowly chips away at our trust, both in others and in ourselves. You may hesitate to believe that someone close to you is only around for their benefit, yet subtle signs like insincere words and half-truths begin to paint a clearer picture. So how do we protect ourselves from drowning in suspicion and maintain our peace when we sense someone's insincerity? Stoicism, with its calm and profound teachings, offers guidance. It helps us recognize signs of deception and face them with clarity and resilience. According to the Stoics, preserving inner peace and understanding human nature are essential for navigating relationships tainted by hidden motives. In this video, we'll delve into 7 clear signs that someone may be fake with you. These lessons don't just teach us how to spot deception, they also help us cultivate a stronger, more resilient mind to guard against negativity. Let's explore each sign and discover how Stoicism equips us to handle these challenges with grace and fortitude. Before we dive in, here's a quick challenge. Stick around until the end of the video and reflect on how many of these signs you've encountered in your relationships. Now let's begin. Sign 1. They never initiate contact. A fake friend often waits for you to reach out first or only shows up when they need something. This one-sided dynamic can leave you feeling frustrated, as if the relationship survives solely because of your effort. From a Stoic perspective, cutting ties immediately isn't the answer. Instead, it's an opportunity to observe human behavior and let go of unrealistic expectations. When someone never initiates contact, it might mean they see you as a secondary connection or lack genuine commitment. Think about it. If a friend only calls when they need help or when they're feeling down, does that feel like a meaningful bond? Likely not. A true connection is mutual. Both sides willingly give and receive. Ask yourself, if I stopped reaching out, would this person notice and make an effort to reconnect? Take a step back and give yourself a break from always being the one to initiate. If they truly value your relationship, they'll reach out. If they don't, you have your answer. Their lack of effort also becomes evident during social moments, events you weren't invited to, parties you learn about through others, or gatherings you only see on social media. These instances reveal where you truly stand in their life. A genuine friend includes you in the moments that matter. If you're consistently excluded, it may be time to reassess the relationship. These behaviors aren't just about failing to reach out, they reveal a deeper lack of care. When you're the only one making an effort, it signals that your role in their life is minimal. You may have invested significant time and emotion into the relationship, but their indifference shows they don't truly value your presence. This realization can leave you feeling abandoned and questioning your worth in their eyes. Consider a friend you thought was close. You're the one who texts, checks in, and initiates plans, whether it's for coffee or a movie. But when life gets busy and you stop reaching out, they disappear. No messages, no calls, no effort to reconnect. The disappointment that follows is natural, but a Stoic perspective offers a different approach. As Epictetus wisely said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Their absence may be beyond your control, but how you choose to respond is within your power. You can dwell on feelings of betrayal and hurt, or you can accept the reality of the situation. Instead of clinging to unmet expectations, focus on managing your emotions and gradually letting go. Stoicism teaches that expectations are often the root cause of disappointment. Placing too much hope in others behaving a certain way makes us vulnerable to hurt when they don't. By viewing relationships with clarity and realism, we empower ourselves to act with intention rather than react emotionally. Accepting someone's lack of initiative without allowing it to disturb your peace is an act of resilience. This inner tranquility frees you from relying on external validation. Ask yourself, If they don't truly value me, am I ready to let go? Answering this question honestly can lead to a profound sense of freedom. People who fail to reciprocate may have different priorities or may not value the relationship as deeply. But as a Stoic, there's no need to judge or harbor resentment. Instead, strive for understanding and acceptance. Focus on cultivating inner strength and seeking more genuine connections. Ultimately, the most important thing isn't whether others put effort into the relationship, but whether you're strong enough not to depend on their attention. That's the Stoic path, living with calm and resilient strength. Sign 2. They're never there when you need them. A true friend supports you without hesitation, carrying your burdens when life becomes overwhelming. A false friend, on the other hand, may appear caring and attentive, but only when it suits their needs. When you face real challenges and need their help, they vanish, leaving you to handle everything alone. Have you noticed how they always seem to have an excuse when you're struggling? This pattern reflects their self-serving nature. To them, the relationship holds value only when they benefit from it. During times of vulnerability, they withdraw because they no longer see you as useful. Think back. How often have they been absent during your moments of need? A one-sided connection like this can be emotionally draining. But rather than dwell on their absence, take it as an opportunity to reassess. Recognize their behavior for what it is, and choose to focus on relationships that are mutually supportive. Ever found yourself lost or hurting, only to realize the person you thought would be there for you never shows up? Picture this. You're overwhelmed at work, struggling under high expectations and exhaustion. You call a friend you've always supported, hoping for a listening ear or advice. They don't pick up, offer excuses about being busy, and promise to call back later, but they never do. That's when it hits you. This friendship thrives only when you're giving, and they disappear when you need something in return. Sometimes, you might even need small support, a financial loan or a favor, from someone who once assured you they'd always help. You've stood by them during their tough times, yet when you reach out, they're suddenly struggling, though their lifestyle suggests otherwise. The kindness you extended goes unreciprocated, and it becomes clear the relationship is a one-way street. Fair-weather friends often hide behind convincing excuses. I'm dealing with too much, or I have urgent matters to handle. But these explanations often mask a lack of sincerity. A true friend doesn't vanish during hard times. They're there to listen and support, even if they're facing struggles of their own. This brings us to an important question. Does this friendship bring real value and meaning, or is it simply a convenience for them? A genuine friend listens and supports without expecting anything in return. In contrast, a false friend takes but rarely gives back. If you've ever felt this way, sharing your story can help release the expectations that once caused pain. These relationships are built not on love, but calculation. Recognizing this truth doesn't harden us. It protects us. Stoicism teaches us to let go of what we can't control, including others' sincerity. A true friend won't disappear in times of need, and by cultivating self-reliance, we free ourselves from dependency on anyone's presence. Sign 3. They only focus on themselves. Once you've noticed someone's absence during your struggles, the next sign of insincerity is their self-centeredness in communication. Genuine relationships involve balance, listening and sharing equally. But insincere individuals often dominate conversations, turning them into platforms to talk about themselves. Have you ever been in a conversation where the other person constantly interrupts, disregards your input, or shifts the focus back to themselves? These interactions reveal a lack of mutual care and a preoccupation with their own interests. Instead of connection, they seek validation. For such individuals, conversations aren't about fostering understanding, but feeding their egos. They boast about work, personal achievements, or struggles, with little patience for listening to others. As Marcus Aurelius advised, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Insincere people often focus on projecting an image rather than embodying genuine character. Imagine a colleague who always discusses their latest project or vacation but never asks about your experiences. When you share something significant, they quickly redirect the focus to themselves. Such behavior not only reveals selfishness, but also highlights their lack of sincerity. Even worse, when you express struggles, like stress at work, they might minimize your feelings or compare them to their own challenges, claiming theirs are more significant. This lack of empathy makes you realize they're not interested in sharing your burden. They only want to talk about theirs. True friends value your emotions and respect your thoughts. They don't dismiss your concerns with, "It's not a big deal," or ignore them altogether. Instead, they listen without judgment and validate your feelings. Insincere individuals, however, belittle or dismiss what you share, not because they don't understand, but because they choose not to care. When you encounter someone who constantly centers conversations on themselves, resist the urge to feel anger or disappointment. Instead, recognize their behavior as a reflection of their character, not your worth. Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control, our responses and choices. Let this understanding guide you toward meaningful connections and away from relationships built on ego and convenience. When dealing with insincere or self-centered individuals, responding with negativity is unnecessary. Instead, focus on maintaining a safe emotional distance. Recognize that these people might not bring meaningful or positive value to your life. Stoicism offers a powerful approach. Acknowledge the reality, accept what you cannot control, and focus on protecting your peace. You are not obligated to endure someone else's selfishness. Prioritize relationships that are genuine and mutually supportive. Distancing yourself doesn't mean harboring resentment. It's about preserving your energy and spirit from unnecessary negativity. Sign 4. They forget what you talk about. Have you ever shared a significant or heartfelt story with someone, only to realize later that they don't remember any of it? Perhaps you discussed a life-changing event, an important goal, or a major plan, but when the topic came up again, they seemed oblivious. This kind of forgetfulness is not just a lapse in memory. It reflects a lack of genuine care. True friends remember the details of your conversations because listening to you matters to them. Their attention isn't an effort, it's a reflection of their interest in your life. When someone forgets what you share, it can feel disheartening. It signals that they're not truly present in the relationship. A personal story. I once shared my excitement with a friend about starting a long-anticipated course. I poured my heart into the conversation, speaking of my goals and dreams tied to this new chapter. The next time we met, I hinted at it, hoping for a follow-up, but they looked at me blankly. They had no recollection of what I'd shared. In that moment, it became clear that I wasn't a priority in their life. Contrast that with another friend who remembers even the smallest details I mention, whether it's a restaurant I wanted to try or a family trip. Their attentiveness makes me feel valued and appreciated, proving they truly care. The Stoic perspective. Seneca once said, "If you wish to be loved, love." True friendship is built on mutual care and understanding. Relationships where someone consistently forgets or dismisses your words lack the authenticity needed for deep connection. It's not about holding grudges, but reassessing whether such relationships are worth your energy. Surround yourself with those who truly listen, who ask how you're doing because they genuinely want to know. Sign 5. They always want something from you. While some individuals forget your words out of indifference, others approach relationships with more calculated intentions. These are the people who seem engaged and interested, but only as long as it serves their personal gain. These individuals often reach out to ask for favors, advice, or resources, masking their self-serving motives with friendliness. They may inquire about your finances, career, or personal life, not out of concern, but to assess what they can gain. For instance, they might ask, "How's your work going?" Or "How did that project turn out?" but show no genuine support when you face challenges. A practical example. Imagine a friend frequently asking about your financial status or career plans, but never offering encouragement or assistance when you're struggling. Their questions aren't driven by care, but by curiosity about what they might exploit. When this pattern becomes clear, it's time to reassess their role in your life. The Stoic response. In relationships built on convenience and exploitation, Stoicism teaches us to detach from the need for validation or approval. Protect your boundaries and choose connections that uplift you rather than drain you. As Epictetus reminds us, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Ultimately, life is richer when shared with people who value you for who you are, not for what they can gain. Letting go of exploitative relationships frees you to invest in meaningful connections that nurture mutual respect and understanding. In a world where many people prioritize taking over giving, toxic relationships often emerge. Such individuals will go to great lengths to obtain what they desire, sometimes feigning friendship or exploiting moments of vulnerability to sustain relationships that ultimately serve only their interests. It becomes crucial to evaluate the connections in your life. Ask yourself, where am I investing my time, energy, and resources? If the answer reveals a pattern where you are always giving, sacrificing without receiving meaningful support in return, this is a clear sign of a manipulative relationship. Some people will readily drain your energy, resources, and kindness without hesitation. Stoicism teaches us to discern the true intentions of those around us. Reflect on the question, why are they in my life? The philosophy emphasizes mindfulness, dividing people into two types: those who take more than they give, and those who genuinely strive to contribute more than they receive. Picture a friend who frequently seeks your help, whether it's advice, a listening ear, or even financial aid. Initially, you might feel valued for your support, but over time it becomes evident that this relationship is one-sided. When you need assistance, they are suddenly too busy or uninterested. Perhaps you faced a tough time at work, needing someone to listen, and they made an excuse to avoid you. Eventually, you realize they only appear when they need something, valuing your presence only when it serves their benefit. Marcus Aurelius emphasized the importance of understanding others' motives. Stoicism helps you maintain calm and clarity in such situations, ensuring these relationships don't leave you bitter or disheartened. If you find yourself surrounded by individuals who consistently take without reciprocating, it's time to create distance. This doesn't necessarily mean cutting ties completely, but recognizing when a relationship no longer contributes to your growth. By identifying and stepping back from relationships that drain you, you create space for connections that nurture mutual growth and respect. True peace comes from mastering your emotions and focusing on what truly matters, as Stoicism teaches, ensuring your kindness is shared with those who genuinely value it.